Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today I've got a review for the new Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise number 10. This is the Voyager class Grapple. Grapple's a character that's pretty long overdue for a new figure. The last one he got was a 2008 Universe toy, which took some real artistic liberties with the character. A very popular toy. I don't have that one specifically. People say good things about it, but it left the more G1 purist types wanting something else, and now they finally get it. This guy looks like he was plucked right out of the original 80s cartoon. He's a pretty hefty size, got this really nice bright orange coloration going on. And he just has all the weird quirks that make Grapple Grapple. The head box and the big old, truck chest and all that. Admittedly, this is the first Grapple toy I've ever had, so I don't really have anything to compare him to. But I will say he does look very cool for a toy that's sold at the $30 price point. Looks like a mini version of his masterpiece. Now, I have heard some stories, very unfortunate stories, of a breakage on some copies of this toy. I guess with the way that something pegs into his feet, or his feet peg into something. I guess we'll find out. Hopefully, partway through this review, I don't end up breaking this toy. But anyway, if you've seen my reviews before, you know how this goes. We're going to take a look at Grapple's packaging. We'll see his instructions. I'll take a quick look at his Universe map piece, and then we'll see Grapple himself in both his vehicle and robot modes. I've got one group shot in mind currently for this guy, and then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So Grapple, he comes in your standard Earthrise packaging, which, by the way, if my movements end up being a little jerky on this arm, I hurt myself today, so it might happen, just saying. But got all your nice blue and kind of space background here. You see him standing very prominently in the packaging. His bright orange really makes him stand out, and he takes up most of the window, which is always good. I can't really see his accessories from this angle. I'm not sure where they're hiding, but we'll see them soon. Over here, we have nice artwork of Grapple, and you can see he looks a little scared, like he's being attacked, and it looks like he's defending the Ark. I think that's what that is in the background, so that's pretty cool. I'm guessing there's a Decepticon attack going on in the scene. And you can see he's got the little claw hand thing that the toy comes with. He also has the cannon hand replacement, which I'm not actually sure if the toy comes with. Guess we'll find out when we open it. Might be some false advertising there. Here's the back. You have renders for his robot and vehicle modes, 16 steps to convert him, and then they also show off how he interacts with the airlock system. Shows him specifically gripping a copy of Sound Barrier, the new Battle Master that turns into a ramp for the Micromaster City. And, overall it's your standard fare, but it's exciting because this is something pretty different. And of course, in case you were curious, nothing new here. Same old Earthrise picture. And here's Grapple's instruction sheet. You can see pretty good size here. Got a fairly clear render of him on the front. Honestly, maybe a little blurry. So we open this guy up. And the first thing we see is weapon storage for his robot mode. And thankfully he does come with his little hand cannon or nozzle thing, so that's great. He has a little tech spec readout here. Then you have his transformation from robot to vehicle, which continues across the top here. Show you where to store his accessories in the vehicle mode. And here it shows you how to attach his little claw hand thing to his crane, so he can lift things up a little more securely than just using a hook if he wants to. Then over here, it shows you how he connects to a figure such as Ironworks. And then lastly, they show you how to use a little decoder for his map piece. And here is that map piece. A little decoder right here. And the only thing you can see on here special are just the red grid lines, whatever they are. There's no planet specifically called out on this piece, so that's a first for me, at least as far as the bigger pieces are concerned, which I'm pretty sure this is actually even bigger than the pieces that come with the deluxes. So that's It's a little weird, but I guess, you know, you can't have the planet crammed into every little part of this map, or it might be a bit too congested. I want to point out this problem area that everybody has. So right here, focus on that a little better. Just got a new camera, so having issues with it. You can see these pegs that are going from the base of the crane arm into what become its feet. And they are round pegs going into a hexagonal hole. And it's a very, very tight fit. And having already messed with this guy, you know, in preparation for shooting this part, yeah, I can see why it breaks. I can absolutely see why these parts break off if you're not very, very careful. Best way I found to go about it is a very slow, steady approach, which I'll show you here in a moment. So just be mindful of that. Hopefully there's a running change to this guy that just slightly reduces the size of those pegs or increases the size of the holes. Actually, no, they should leave the hole sizes alone because those are used for accessories. So yeah, reduce the peg sizes. Would be the best way to go. All right, so that's about all there is to see with the vehicle mode. Got some nice clear plastic here. I think this whole section right here is actually clear blue and it's mostly just painted, so be careful. Don't scratch the paint or crack the plastic. Okay, now I'm going to bring in Ironworks, who, being the only modulator, is seeing a lot of attention in this wave when it comes to showing off the airlock system anyway. And yeah, I'm going to use him to demonstrate how this little claw interacts with the airlock system. So it's got this clip on the inside, so you just bring it in and let that clip to go right between these nubs here, which you're going to kind of grab onto it. So it's not a very, very strong connection, but it does hold. And that is how he connects to these base pieces. Now, I don't know what purpose this serves. This is just about as impractical as hoists airlock compatibility. Like, okay, cool, it connects, but what does that do? I mean, I guess you could make it look like he's performing construction on part of the base, maybe placing a piece of the road down or something. But other than that, I mean, it really just gets in the way. So, you know, A for compatibility, but as far as the execution, it's like a D-. I mean, what is this? All right, now for the transformation. So the first thing I want to do, go ahead and remove the accessories, specifically the claw and the gun. Kind of get them out of the way. This can stay on here, it really doesn't get in the way at all. So what you want to do, you're going to push this thing in. It's locked in place there, push it away until it locks in place in the contracted direction. Then you're going to swing this all the way back without dipping the base down. There you go, like that. Here, I'm going to untab the arms. So they have little holes. They attach to these black pegs here. I'm just going to straighten out the torso area. Pull these all the way forward until the shoulder panels plug into the sides of the torso, and then just kind of bring that down for now. Now this is danger zone. This is the part where your toy might break if you're not very, very careful. So I'm going to try to kind of just demonstrate how I managed to do it. It's just a very slight wriggling motion. You're just kind of pulling and wiggling it around, but not too hard, right? You don't want to stress the plastic. And now, this is going to take a moment because you want to do little baby movements, basically. You don't want to stretch or bend anything. So just slowly work it off. I don't know if you can tell what it's giving. See that? Slowly let it go. And kind of apply a little bit of counter force as you get toward the end. So just rip it right off. If you can help it. Yep, there we go. All right, so we got the one side. And my anxiety is kicking in right now. I'm getting a little worried here. Slowly wriggling it. You can see it coming. And just keep going very carefully. Now I gotta say, even though I found a way to make this work, and see, I'm not putting any stress marks on the plastic so far, I can see. But yeah, just be extremely careful. It should not be this way. Like, it's great I can make it work, but this transformation should not be so panic-inducing. I really hope they get this worked out soon. Alright, so we've gotten that straightened out. Now we're gonna fold all this stuff in several ways. So you bring this first panel up, just kind of push it all the way in. Pull this one down. You're just kind of doing an accordion to get everything pushed in. Now, here, you're gonna bend this base section down a bit and flip this panel. There you go. That contains his head. Once you've done that, keep all this against his back, swing this part down, and you want these little notches to go kind of between these tabs here. Just like so. Fold this all the way down. We're gonna fix his feet. So kind of bring them forward and then swing them back like this. Alright, bring his arms around, and now let's rotate his hands out. And there you go. That is Grapple's basic robot mode. No accessories or anything, just him in all his glory. And he looks really cool. He does really look like a mini masterpiece. As far as his posability, his head is actually on just a swivel joint, not a ball joint. But luckily, it's not impeded. You can do a full 360 without any of this box getting in the way, so that's perfect. Shoulders are hinge and swivel combo. Got bicep swivel, single bend elbows, no wrist articulation. He does have full waist articulation. His hips are a hinge and swivel as well. You got your thigh swivel up top, single bend knees, and then he has some ankle tilt. And because of his transformation, some limited ankle rock, but it's not really meant for that. So yeah, he's got almost the full shebang. The only thing he's really missing is the wrist articulation. But he's great. He looks good. You're going to be able to get some awesome poses out of him. Now, if you want to go ahead and attach his accessories, the official getup is having this thing on this side. And then if you want to store the gun, you can always put it here. Like so. Honestly, the side that you put them on doesn't matter, but they work either way. And of course, you still got the nozzle hiding right there. So yeah, he's looking pretty spiffy there. Now, of course, we want to show off the accessories. So take his gun, let him hold it in this hand, like that. And then let's go ahead, fold this fist in to reveal a 5mm port, which can work with all sorts of accessories, but in his case, you can go ahead and attach the claw onto it, like you've seen in so many of the renders, and he can, reach out, grab stuff. Looks kind of cool, but my personal favorite is the classic little accessory, which is the nozzle. Now the nozzles were actually, or the nozzle was kind of an animation, I don't know if I'd call it error, maybe misunderstanding. The original Grapple toy had missiles that you could put in place to his fist and they fire. And when they decided to animate this guy, they replaced the missile with like a water nozzle or something. But yeah, I think he looks pretty much perfect like this. I think this is really close to the perfect representation of this character. I mean, he looks awesome. He's got great posability. He's got a very just kind of heroic, dynamic look to him. And I love it. I think he's absolutely gorgeous. He's a little small for a Voyager, admittedly, especially when you place him next to his buddy Inferno here. Now, this is the Power of the Primes Inferno. They haven't made an Earthrise one yet, though it seems almost inevitable that they are going to retool Grapple into another Inferno. I know this Inferno toy doesn't get a lot of love. A lot of people just weren't interested in him because he's just kind of a cheap retool of Hotspot. But I think he's got his charm. And I just want to show you what a Voyager from just, like 2 years ago looks like compared to this guy. He is significantly taller. As far as actual mass, they're not too different. I think this guy's still got more mass to him, but not as much as you would expect for how much taller he is. So you're not getting quite the deal that you were maybe 2 years ago for that $30. Or man, were they even 30 yet? I think they might have still been 25, so. Ooh, maybe I'm trying too hard to defend this. Yeah, these toys are too expensive nowadays. But that is not Grapple's fault. He, for what he is a fantastic figure. And, if you've got the $30 to spare, I think he is well worth the purchase. Now, I haven't reviewed Starscream yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to like Grapple more than the new Starscream. But I guess time will tell on that one. So, final thoughts. I like just about everything about this toy. The claw arm can look a little silly hanging off the side there, but you could always just take it off if you want to. The only real issue this has is the design flaw for those two pegs being just a bit too big for his feet. I do think it's something that can be rectified, and hopefully people have brought this up to Hasbro and they might make a running change and just make those a little bit smaller. The Transformers wiki actually recommends sanding those down a little bit, which if you're okay with doing that to your toy, then go for it. I'm a little reluctant to start sanding these things, but we'll see how it goes. I might just keep to my method of slowly easing them out. But yeah, that flaw aside, I don't think we could have asked for a better Grapple toy for $30. He just presses all the right buttons, and I think if you're a big purist for G1, especially a cartoon purist, so that's where he does take the most inspiration, I think you're gonna love him, especially if you don't want to drop the $100+ for the masterpiece. But of course, as always, that's just my opinion. I really want to know what you all think of Grapple. Is he kind of the second coming you've all been waiting for? Does he live up to your hopes and dreams, or does he disappoint you? I definitely look forward to your input in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you like this kind of stuff and you want to see more of it. If you do want to see more of it, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at a very, very cool update to a often forgotten character. And with all that said, I will see you next time.